What is going on, Internet? Eric Van Holtz back again with another e-commerce conversations. I hope all is well on the other side of the internet. On the other side of the internet for me is it's you guys. Another solo episode. Some of you guys love these, and some of you guys really love these. I think that's all we got going. These are fun ones. I get to talk a little bit behind the scenes of what's going on at Beardbrand, the ups, the downs, the struggles, the wins. And this one, I don't think I've done this one in a while, and I kind of wanted to give an update, but it's basically my favorite e-commerce tools for 2026. I've got 15 of them with one extra one that I want to get into that I haven't really gotten into yet. So we'll start off in e-commerce with your core infrastructure. A lot of these are going to be really familiar, probably not anything outside of the box, but Shopify for us continues to be an amazing platform. It allows us to, quickly make modifications to our website. We've actually made a few notable changes to our website recently. Historically, we would have multiple variants on one product page or PDP page, and we've broken off those variants into their own individual products. So, for instance, we would have beard oil, the beard oil page. You go to the beard oil page, and then you would select Old Money or Four Vices, Norse Winter, whatever fragrance you want. You'd select your size of the container and you'd add it to the cart. We'd have the navigation direct to those beard oil pages. Well, we've now split off to where we have a collections page. So we now have a beard oil collections page that also includes reviews and information and insight, but will link directly to like a Norse Winter beard oil product page or a Four Vices beard oil product page. And for us, what we've seen in our industry is that Google favors collection pages over PDPs. But honestly, like we really didn't do it for SEO purposes because no offense to all the SEO people out there, it's on the way out. It's only a matter of time before people just completely spend all their time in search through their AI platform of choice. There is SEO best practices from like wanting to make sure you get into that AEO or AI engine optimization. But from a search perspective, that's really not how we're focusing. I do think there's a lot of overlap. So it's not to say we're completely refusing it. But the big reason we did that was more to tell the story of our fragrances. If you go to our website now and check it out, we have our header tagline is Beardbrand is a fragrance house disguised as a beard care company. And we're really leaning into fragrance and telling the story of our fragrances. And it just became very difficult or maybe more overwhelming to display all that information on one PDP. So now people can find the fragrance they want. They go in there. We'll really, dig down deeply into what that fragrance is like, the imagery, the sensory aspect of the fragrance. The reviews are now going to be associated with that fragrance versus maybe other fragrances. And then when they get the recommendations at the bottom for other products, they will all be of the same fragrance. So a little bit better user experience, in my opinion. And we've seen some success on our website. Our website is loading incredibly fast right now. I think our first we keep a metric in house, which is based on Shopify's page load speed. They kind of changed the metric. I think it's like a mobile, first or last paints or something like that. And we're down to 64 milliseconds or something. So it's the quickest our site's ever been. And our conversion rate is doing pretty well. Like we've boosted our conversion rate up to 4.6%, something like that. So I know we've got a pretty compelling website right now, and we'll see if we can continue to optimize that, get it better, get the right traffic, the right eyeballs. But we couldn't do any of this without Shopify. So huge props to Shopify. If you're not on Shopify, I don't know how you do it. I know some people love WooCommerce and they love, what's the other one here in Austin? Dang, I can't even remember. I know AmeriCommerce is out there. But yeah, Shopify just dominates. If you're not on Shopify, bless your soul. Other kind of website foundational tools that are really important to us, our review widget. We use Judge Me. Spoiler, I'm also a brand ambassador for Judge Me, but only after we've been using them for a long period of time. I love their business model. They are incredibly economical, low priced, and not only that, they don't view their product as a low price product. So they don't think about it as like, oh, we have this low price product, so you only get minimal features. They are, building out an extensive strategy and plan to develop trust of brands and shoppers on the internet and try to be a facilitator for that trust between the customer and the store. So it's a hard thing to do because you want to make sure you give brands tools, but you also want to kind of be transparent with them and show like how many of the reviews are they deleting, or what are the real metrics for the store, so people can really trust both Judge Me reviews and trust the website that's using it. So they've got a lot in store and a lot coming out with, and it's like, oh man, I, I think we're paying $15 a month. Maybe it's $20 a month. It's insanely economical for what you're getting. And we've been able to, customize it so that it blends seamlessly into our website. It looks beautiful. And yeah, I'm excited for Judge and a big fan of them. The other infrastructure on our platform is Recharge. I've kind of had ups and downs with Recharge over the years. Sometimes I feel like they're a little too expensive. But lately, their seamless ordering process, if you want to develop a subscription service platform where you are transparent and open and honest and, really customer focused, or delivering a customer focused subscription service, I think Recharge is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. The text messaging that we do where people can pause it, they can skip it. It notifies them. There's no argument. It's super easy. Like our customer service tickets for subscription stuff is pretty much negligible because we do such a great job of communicating when upcoming orders are coming, and customers love it. Like it's not common that I get unsolicited text messages about how my business is being run, especially with compliments. But I have gotten a few compliments to the subscription service and how that's run and how easy it is and how much people just love it. So Recharge has been a good partner for us. We've been with them a very long time. And right now in 2026, we have no intentions or plans for looking for other tools. Now let's get into marketing. I think a lot of these you're probably going to be familiar with. Klaviyo, we've been with them for 2012. We've got all of our campaigns and flows set up with them. We moved our SMS away. I think that was a pretty tough decision for me because I do fundamentally believe that PostScript is the best SMS platform out there. And that would be the platform that we would go with if we didn't want to consolidate our data. And that's really how Klaviyo kind of won us over with that. I think it's serviceable and it's a good option. And then of course email, and really almost functioning as like a CRM for us is quite crucial to the way we reach out to people. Kind of taking the digital marketing to the real world, we have been utilizing Postpilot for our postcard campaigns, and that's been a nice service. We kind of use Postpilot. I think the most effective way that we use Postpilot is to reach out to customers who have unsubscribed from communication with us on email and SMS text. So those people who we can no longer reach, but they're still customers, they still buy from us. Postpilot is a great way to send out those direct mails and kind of stay in front of them, have that little pulse with them. So look at that. Speaking of like accessing people, being able to reach them, another great tool that we have is OpenSend. OpenSend basically, we were using retention. I think it was retention.com. But we moved to OpenSend. They were on the show on our podcast a few months ago, and we've been working with them to really to be able to reach out to customers who show intent and show interest in purchasing our products, but maybe they didn't join our email newsletter or or anything like that. So OpenSend's been a nice tool for us to really kind of bring some efficiencies to our email communication platforms. Highly recommend you check them out if you haven't integrated that. That's one level up of your email marketing that could be is one of those like kind of foundational wins. It's like you set up your flows, boom, from there, like you're always going to be better. You improve your CRO, your conversion rate optimization, boom, you're always going to be better. You integrate OpenSend and you capture more interest from, or you capture more data from interested party, boom, you've leveled that up. Set up your campaign flows for, pilot, and you are, collecting more. I mean, everything just kind of levels up. So it's like once you build that nice foundation, and you have that ready to go, you can just kind of put it on autopilot and focus on other things. Speaking of post purchase, Grapevine has been our post purchase kind of like, I want to say like source of truth, but like mostly source of truth to kind of understand where our customers are finding us. We've been pretty focused on how we're targeting our customers primarily through Meta, so it's not been the huge thing that we need. However, it is incredibly more affordable than something like Triple Whale or Northbeam, which I think are great tools if you're a larger brand spending significant amount of money on multiple platforms. You're probably going to get better data and better insights than you will get from a post-purchase survey. However, for the again $20 a month or whatever it is on Grapevine, you get a ton of insights, and I know consumers are not always like a source of truth. Where they may actually come from is maybe different than what they remember. But if they remember it that way, it kind of gives you indication that you should be investing your resources into that. So Grapevine's a nice little post-purchase survey. Pretty simple. I think we've gotten it to we've optimized it. Well, I'll tell you how we've optimized it is basically we've done multi-question. So I think we used to just ask, how did you first find us? And we got a limited amount of replies to that. And we replaced that with, how long is your beard? And then we ask, how did you find us? And then we ask, what is the reason you chose Beardbrand over the other options? So we actually have a 3-question survey now, and we get higher response because we lead in something that's a little more egotistical or a vanity question rather than something that's more a Beardbrand focused questions. Not only that, we get some insight into what kind of beards and beard styles our customers have, or if they're a man or a woman, and if they're kind of buying for themselves or buying for other people. All right, let's get into kind of the tools. As I said earlier, we've been using Meta as our primary driver for new customer acquisition. Within that, you have to create a ton of ads. We're working with agencies to do that, and we're doing some of that in house. And some of the tools that we're using, and I say we because I'm not using them, but in working with my growth marketer, I know he's in CapCut, cutting up and editing our ads in there, just to be able to get them up and out, kind of streamlining or taking off some of the resource or some of the burden that goes onto our video editor. We are, AI video, I think is kind of there. Like I think if you're not using AI video to generate some of your ads, you're missing out. I personally love Grok Imagine. Grok Imagine, the rate at which you can create images is astronomical. It's so quick, and then the speed and volume of videos you can produce is also quite impressive. And how I've found the best use case for Grok is basically if I want a video clip, I'll first start by prompting an image. And I'll always try to focus on like iPhone camera. You have to kind of like cut out all the beauty filters. Like you don't want it at 35 millimeter. You don't want it at like golden hour. You don't want it at like, the perfect thing. You kind of want, now this is more for kind of like just not user generated testimonials, but just real people. Like if you're trying to create images of real people. Again, with AI, there are some things you need to be aware of. I'm not a lawyer, but you can't have an AI endorse a product as if they're recommending it as an individual. So you have to kind of find that right balance of like, how can you think of them more as a paid actress or a paid actor for your ad rather than a customer representing that they purchased the product from you and that they love it. So there's a nuance of detail. I think it's a Rob Freund on X is a great lawyer to kind of follow because he'll post kind of like a little bit of the details of what is legal, what is not legal, and making sure that we are advertising according to the FTC and the best practices and being honest and transparent with our customers, which for me is crucial and very important. Grok Imagine. If you're not in there, highly recommend it. I know Mike, my growth marketer, he will also get into arcades or CADs. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think that one's a little more limiting on the amount of videos you'll produce. I know he's kind of hitting like the token limit here and there, so he'll actually have me generate stuff in Grok and send it to him just because we can generate so many more options, so many quicker ways. I know like AI from the voice perspective and Grok has opportunity for improvement, but it's a great starting point. Mike's also found success in using Google Nano Banana for our static images. It's done a great job of, in our case, we have a lot of text on our label that can be very challenging for AI to reproduce. It's gotten to the point where I would imagine it's not perfect. It's not perfect yet. However, the errors and the kind of the hallucinations in the text on our bottles is only noticeable if you stop and spend 10 to 15 seconds looking for it. So, and I think the majority of people on social media are not investing. So in terms of being able to quickly generate a feel for your products, I think it's quite impressive. And I was even able to utilize Grok for a similar thing where, it's not it was more of like a test prompt for me, but basically what I did is like generate an image of, lava flowing through like black, hardened lava or whatever. And then I was able to blend, like a knockout photo of our beard oil and be like, all right, now put this bottle in between the rocks and have the lava flow around it. And did a great job. It did exactly what I wanted to do. And again, with minor issues in terms of like the fonts and the text on the bottles or some kind of like weird hallucinations with the lava just exploding. So you kind of have to like, the more you do it, the better you're getting. And I'm sure I'm not telling anybody anything new, but if you are not playing around in image and video generation in AI at this point, like get with the program. Like just get with the program, get in there, start cranking out stuff. So those are the marketing tools that we're currently using. Let's talk about operations. I think like operations is not really something people get excited about, but it is basically the way that you make money and you stay in business, cash flow management, all that stuff, making more money than you spend, paying your bills and making sure your vendors deliver stuff. So this has been like kind of eye-opening. If you listen to my last update in December, I don't know if I had mentioned this or not, but we had to cut 2 team members as our company size still shrank in 2025, unfortunately. One of those people was handling our books, so we moved to a third-party bookkeeper. And in doing so, we've really changed a lot of our kind of financial practices. I feel ashamed to admit this. We're on our 15th year. I'm finally switching to accrual for our P&L. We've run cash this whole time. I'm sure if Patrick Cadu is listening to this podcast episode, he will be happy to hear that. He's been getting on me for years, telling me to switch to accrual. So we're doing that, and we'll get a better gauge of how we're allocating our resources and if we're actually making money or not. But so working with a third party bookkeeper has been great for that. But they have helped us integrate some better practices. We are using Settle as a way. Basically, she'll put all the bills up and settle, and I will see what is going out, and I can verify it and really kind of have that two-factor authentication to sending out money. So everything goes out through Settle. I think it's settle.co is the website. I know there's like bill.com as well, but Settle had a promotion for us that made sense for us to join at the end of the year. That's been really cool. And then Mercury, man, I feel like a complete idiot. When we switched to Mercury, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that. And it's just been a game changer from a banking perspective. Like the things that we used to have to do with our old bank accounts is completely different on Mercury. Like there's just so many things we've been able to automate. We've been able to automate like we have kind of like our public, quote unquote public accounts that we pay out of, and I want to keep that balance really low so that if something ever does happen or there is some kind of like weird ACH where they overdraft or overdraw, whatever, that will be slightly protected. So it's kind of like, keep the smallest amount in there. And then what it'll do is on a daily basis, I can be like, rebalance it to this amount. And then if it's too high, it'll pump it to our savings account or treasury account. And if it's too low, then it'll bring in some money. And it just does that automatically on a daily basis. Whereas we used to have to, I don't know if we had to, or we were just not trusting enough to kind of set up and automate those tools. So that's set up. Same is kind of true. We use Mercury for our employee cards. So we have that set up where those cards are paid off automatically. And then I don't know why I didn't do this as well, but we had monthly payments for our credit cards. And I just set that up to once it hits a certain threshold, we pay. So like all these things that I used to log in and manually pay our credit card. I don't know what I was thinking. Again, I feel pretty dumb. I didn't know how long these tools have been available to automate it, but getting them set up has just been, one less thing that I would imagine that we all as operators hate doing. It's like nobody wants to go in and pay their credit card bill. And for it to just be done automatically is absolutely amazing. So Mercury, Settle, absolutely killer tools. If you're in e-commerce and you haven't moved to Mercury yet, I would recommend that. Hit me up on X. I've got a little code. You get like $250 or something like that, and then I get $250. So I'd be happy to. I recommend it. Recommend it. What other tools are we using operationally? If you see my commercial, I don't think they're running the commercial anymore, but we still use ShipStation for our 3PL. We did make the decision to go with Open Border to start getting our products back into Europe. So we haven't officially launched back into Europe, but that will be coming pretty soon, and excited for their assistance in that process of helping our European customers get our products, whereas they haven't been getting them for a few years. And then the basics, Slack. Everybody uses Slack. I don't think that's anything remarkable, but we killed Asana, Trello, Basecamp, all those project management tools, and we've just rolled that into Slack. So Slack is also our project management tools. I do have one team member who has like a personal Notion account that she prefers, but everybody else, we just use Slack. So it's like you're paying for it already. It's pretty much like, let's say 99% of the way there, or 95% of the way to Asana, 95% of the way to Trello. Save yourself a little bit of money, get used to it, and you'll have it all on one platform. Using Slack for chat or messaging, as well as project management, is something that's been quite beneficial for us lately. And then Google Docs. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Google, the giant corporate overlords that, have all my data, and, I lose my privacy too, and they see everything that's going on. But man, like Google Docs is just like an amazing tool with sheets and being able to link other people and share stuff, and, using it as our drive. I can't imagine. I mean, maybe there will be some tools in the future that surpass it. I would imagine any of those tools that get developed are quickly snapped up by a Facebook or a Microsoft or a Google. So just kind of what is it? The enemy that you know is better than the enemy you don't know. Is that a saying? It is now. Um, so Google Docs, you know, and the other advantage is like I think we're getting a little bit of Google Banana, Nano Banana usage out of our Google Apps account. So it's been pretty crucial and beneficial for us. I want to loop back. Maybe this is let's just move into the next section, which is kind of future tools that I've kind of like gotten my toes into, and maybe are things that we want to get into. Um, One of those is Air. I think it's like Air.inc or something like that. We were working with the boys over at Batch and just being able to upload a significant volume of video footage and to be able to quickly scrub through that video footage. Historically, we had been using Google Drive for that. In Google Drive, it's okay for data storage, but when you think about how you want to create ads and produce content and manage video assets, I believe that it has a lot of features that are lacking when you compare it to something like Air.inc. So that's kind of on our wish list for future tools that we'll be adding as we continue to bring efficiencies to our content production. We continue to build a larger inventory of video assets and creative. I think it makes sense for us to be able to put that on Air. So that's on our bucket list to buy. And then the other one, if you've been on X, you've seen all about this. If you haven't been on X, I feel for you. I don't know what's going on LinkedIn. I can only imagine it's really bad takes and really basic takes. But OpenClaw, formerly known as ClaudeBot, which the dude was hired by OpenAI. So maybe it's a matter of time before that becomes a chat GPT type of feature. Seems to be a really incredible tool, and it has fundamentally changed the way that I view building the business. Up until this point, it's been like, hey, we need these things done. How do I hire an employee, or how do I keep my team focused on the things that are important? To the idea with OpenClaw is basically if you have an employee that works primarily on their computer, that can be done by an AI agent. So imagine the type of roles that you could be creating through an OpenClaw. Think about like someone who's building an influencer networking program, someone who is a developer and building custom inventory management in house, or custom shipping tools, or custom CRM, whatever you need specifically to your business, they could be doing that. If you need them to run a wholesale program and reach out to your wholesalers, you can give them tools. You can create their own email address. Think of them that way. Like, I think there's a lot of people who view it as like this personal assistant, and it's like have them go in and read your emails and bring efficiencies to what you do. And I'm like, no, don't think of it that way. Think of it as hiring an employee, and the employee you hire is an AI bot. You give them an email, you give them a company credit card. People are doing that so they can make purchases, and you give them the freedom and the tools and the guidance to work, and they work 24/7 on your device. And I want to bring on Bill Del Sandro. I know he's been playing around a lot with it from an e-commerce perspective. I haven't really engaged with it yet, but it is something that I am incredibly bullish on, and I really want to kind of get it figured out. I'm kind of a late adapter when it comes to late adopter when it comes to these things, because I want to see the security issues kind of get resolved, or the best practices for security, to make sure we don't end up getting hacked, or the agent just gives away a bunch of our information, it gets phished, or we have any kind of vulnerabilities that are open by that. So I think like the more people kind of use it, the more those get discovered and they get patched. Um, but I also believe that if you are not thinking about building a company this way, then you are going to be missing out. Like I was thinking is like, this open claw could be my blog bot, and they just go through my blog posts and keep them updated, make sure the links are relevant, go through kind of like the granular details of what's going on our blog. We could schedule we film in our barbershop. They could work to schedule between the barber and the client and set the expectations for the type of content that they want to have. Like their customer service and being able to like, walk people through the ordering process. They can even like pick up the phone for you and they can talk on the phone. Like I've seen people who use it to like schedule restaurant reservations with people. So it's like you don't even have to think about it's only on the screen. You can this AI agent can branch into the real world. If they need to call people and communicate with them, man, it could do it. Like, whoo, it is going to be an interesting next few years. Like, and if you are not excited, like to me, this feels like 10 or 15 years ago when Shopify came out and made it so easy to create an e-commerce website. Like before you had to have like website technical abilities, you're installing Magento was crashing every month because it couldn't handle like the memory leaks and stuff like that. But now, like with AI, you're no longer hiring people, you're building agents that will work for you, and they'll work for you 24/7, and they will assist your team and help your team work through the kind of like the granular details. Man, it's going to be a fun time, man. If you're not bullish and excited, I don't know what to tell you. I guess it's time to build your cabin in the woods and start like farming and hunting because I talked about on this last stream with Chris Hall. We're coming into a new domestication between it used to be the humans and the dogs, but now it's the humans and the AI are going to be like the humans and we're going to be like the dogs. So do you want to get nice and fluffy and live a nice life with a roof over your head and food on your table, or do you want to be a wolf? And now's your time to decide that. If you want to be a wolf, it's time for you to go out in the woods, break away from this, live your free life. But for the rest of us, I kind of begrudgingly welcome our domestication, the softening of life, the advancement of life, and it's going to be fun. As always, thanks for listening. Cheers. Keep on growing.